Welcome to another episode here in Yabong Pilipinas. In this video, we will tackle the second part of the basic elements of communication. If you haven't watched the first episode, go back there because ito na yung second episode kung saan pag-uusapan natin ang message and ang channel. Hello, I am Josh, and in this channel, Yabong Pilipinas, ang goal ko is to democratize access to agricultural education. Ang ibig sabihin lang nun ay mas gagawin nating accessible sa social media ang mga topics on the licensure examination for agriculturists. So, ayun, kasi masya yes, let's accept it na nagmamahal na ang mga review centers, and at the same time, uh, hindi lahat ay merong kapasidad and also the time to actually go face to face. So ginagawa ko to para sa mga tao na, example, may work ka. So pwede mo kang gawing podcast. Wow. Meron kang work tapos kailangan mong like wala kang time, hindi mo masingit sa schedule mo. So you can do this in your self-paced. Basta yon, self-paced. Ayan. So in this episode, ito yung part 2 of 4 ng ating communication and extension series. And last time we talked about the attributes of communication as well as sender. Ayan. So here, ang pag-uusapan naman natin ay yung message tapos yung channel. Ayun. So if you're new here, kindly like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And currently I am posting every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tapos, if you want other people na pumasa ng licensure examinations with you, kindly forward this to them para sabay kayong mag-review at mag-aral. All right. I think that's it for this episode. I mean, natapos na. Anyway, so let's move on. Number 2, which is message. So ito yung second, the element of the communication process. So the message is the information or idea being communicated. Halimbawa, bagong planting technique. Example, ito nandito. This is vertical hydroponic towers, ganyan. So, ayun yung message. Here are some message factors. So, ang effectiveness ng communication depends on how the message is designed and presented. So, here are 3 factors that you need to consider in crafting a message. First is the code. Second is the content. And third is the treatment. Let us start with the code. So the code is the set of symbols, words, gestures, or images used to represent the message. It is how the message is encoded so the receiver can understand it. So codes can be verbal, it can be spoken or written words through, for example, this presentation, or written like a news article, or nonverbal like gestures, visuals like my slides, or even sounds kung ginagawa nyo tong podcast. So codes can be verbal and non-verbal. Ay, bakit sounds? Hindi, sounds na ano yan. Sounds na like, mga ganun siguro. Mga sound effects siguro yan, ganyan. So, must fit the audience. Bakit nag-sample ng yi? Anyway, hindi ko nakakat yun. Must fit the audience language, literacy, and culture. So, ayan ang code. It is the set of symbols, words, gestures, or images used to represent the message. The next one is the content. So the content refers to what is being said. So it involves the information, the idea or message substance. Ano yung laman noong mensahe na yon? Kung yung code ay yung kumbaga form, kung paano i-deliver yung message, ang content naman, ano na yung nasa loob? Ano yung substance? Ano yung mismong message? So the message content should be, number 1, accurate. So scientifically and technically correct. The next one is relevant. It addresses farmers' needs or problems. And third, practical. Doable under local farm conditions. So halimbawa, hindi ka naman magsasabi ng, for example, hydroponic gardening sa isang rice field na farmer. 'Di ba? So parang okay, ilalagay ba niya yun dun sa field niya? Parang ganyan. So relevance, nawawala siya. So dapat, again, accurate, relevant, and practical. So doable under local farm conditions. And last is yung treatment ng message. So treatment is how the message is delivered or presented. So diyan papasok yung communicator style, tone, and approach. So treatment can be formal during lectures or training seminars, can also be informal during casual farm visits or conversations, or it can also be participatory wherein farmers contribute their ideas and experiences. So these are some of the examples of treatments na meron dun sa message na yon. So, example, itong ginagawa natin na to, this is actually somehow a formal, uh, anong tawag dito? A formal mode, kumbaga, kasi lecture to, kumbaga. Pero, let's say, for example, kapag, di ba may mga portions ako na parang nagkikwento-kwento lang ako, ganyan. So, doon na papasok yung parang informal. Pero, again, wala naman tong feedback, etc. So this is somehow a one-way communication. Kapag nag-comment kayo dyan, tapos sumagot ako, edi doon papasok yung communication, anong tawag dito, model or yung communication process, kumbaga. So, ayun. So, formal, informal, and participatory. Ayun yung treatment. So, categories of nonverbal communication. So, nonverbal communication is the transfer of messages without using words through body language, facial expressions, gestures, and symbols. So, farmers often interpret meaning not just from words, but from tone, movement, and visuals. So, yung mga simpleng paano ka pupunta sa isang farm, like yung smile mo doon, yung nod, the visual demonstration, often speaks louder than technical terms. And actually, mas natatandaan talaga ng tao how you treat them, how yung visual, kumbaga, ng ikaw, kesa yung mga sasabihin mo, for sure. Ayun. So here are some of the categories. We have physical. Dito papasok yung body language, facial expressions, gestures, posture, and eye contact. So a confident stance, open hand gestures, and friendly eye contact help an extension worker appear approachable to farmers. Siyempre, hindi ka pwedeng maging like, for example, pupunta ka sa isang farm, tapos parang nakasimangot ka doon. So, paano na lang? Di ba? So, ayan. Next is aesthetic. So, expressing ideas or emotions through creative means such as art, music, dance, or performance. So, ito, categories of nonverbal communication, dito papasok. Itong mga to, used to make learning engaging and culturally relevant. So, dito papasok yung farm songs, community dramas, and murals. Ayan yung mga ilan na aesthetic na nonverbal communication. And signs. Signs are naturally occurring indicators or signals that convey meaning without human language. So halimbawa, yung mga ganap doon sa mismong farm, ito, yellowing ng leaves. Ibig sabihin, merong nutrient deficiency. Kapag may langgam yung mga halaman, possible na may peste roon. Cloud patterns, kapag masyadong makapal yung mga ulap, possible na merong incoming na rain. So those are some examples of the signs kung saan yung mga farmers, ayun yung pag-interpret nila. So, yeah, symbolic then. So symbols are objects, actions, or images that stand for an idea or concept agreed upon by people. Symbols are powerful for campaigns and learning materials. Halimbawa, kapag may green leaf na icon ng it may represent organic farming. Kapag seedling image naman, may symbolize growth and sustainability. So those are some of the symbols, the images na karaniwang na i-incorporate sa mga ibang sa mga konsepto. Ayun, kapag green na leaf icon, organic farming, ganyan. Okay, so the next element of the communication process is yung channel or yung medium. So paano naman nagta-travel yung mensahe? So the pathway through the message travels, ayun yung channel or medium. We have example, radio, meetings, demonstrations, yung mga yan. Okay. So the message channels can be grouped as interpersonal channels, mediated channels, mass media channels, and folk media channels. Tignan natin sila. So here are some of the dimensions of communication channels. We have reach, the speed, the feedback. I think meron pang iba. Yan, personalization, cost, and channel richness. Tignan natin isa-isa. So meron tayong reach. So ang meaning ng reach, how wide the audience can be. So example, sa isang radio program, mas makakakuha ka ng mas makaka-reach ka na mas maraming farmers, for example, across provinces. Halimbawa, next naman ay yung speed. Ang speed naman, how quickly the message is transmitted. So halimbawa, kapag meron typhoon, text message alert. Ayun. So mas mabilis yon. Next ay feedback. Ability to receive response from receiver. So face-to-face meetings allow immediate feedback. Tas karaniwan ang mga Zoom or itong, for example, itong setup natin ngayon, so syempre, hindi ko makukuha lahat ng feedback ng mga nanonood sa akin. Parang ganun. Unless, mag-comment silang lahat dyan. Ayun. So, ayun siya. Reach, speed, and feedback. Dimension of communication channels. Another one is personalization. So personalization naman, ang meaning yan is degree of personal contact. So halimbawa, individual farm visits are highly personal. Ang mga mass naman, example, seminar, karaniwan walang masyadong personalization dyan. Kasi marami kayo doon sa isang lecture hall. So, hindi ganun ka-personalize ang meeting or ang information compared to like one-on-one conversation. Next is cost. So expense involved in communication. Halimbawa, yung pag-print ng mga leaflets, yung mga parang brochure, tapos hosting radio shows, yung mga yan. So may mga cost yan actually nakaakibat. And lastly, channel richness, ability to convey complex information with cues. Ayan. So demonstrations are richer than posters. Ayun. So ang mga farmers natin, mas gusto nila kapag nakikita na agad nila kung ano yung nangyayari. So demonstrations are richer than posters. So effective extension work balances reach, feedbacks, and cost in selecting channels. So dapat na babalance lahat ng mga iyan. So interpersonal channels, ito yung direct person-to-person communication between the source and the receiver. So characteristic ng interpersonal channel, two-way communication, nagkipag-usap na agad sila sa iyo doon sa mismong ano. It allows immediate feedback. It builds trust and credibility, and it is best for behavior change and learning. So halimbawa nito yung farm and home visits, farmer field schools, demonstrations and training sessions, yung mga yan. So interpersonal channel sila. So ito yung mga roles in interpersonal channel. First, we have the gatekeepers. So gatekeepers are individuals who control or influence the flow of information within a community. So sila yung nagde-decide what information passes through others. Halimbawa ng mga ito ay barangay agricultural officers, cooperative leaders, agricultural supply store owners. So kung halimbawa, yung nanay ko is like a chairman of a cooperative. So meron siya mga ina-attend na seminar somewhere sa DA. Tapos siya, parang tinatransfer niya yung mga seminar, yung mga natutunan niya sa seminar na yon sa mga farmers within the cooperative. Ayun. So pagkatapos niya doon, para mag-meeting sila, tapos sasabihin niya, ito yung bagong fertilizer, blah, 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 etc. Ito yung bagong pesticide, blah, blah, blah. So, ayun. So cooperative leaders, ayun yung isa sa example. So sila, they are considered as gatekeepers. Ayan. So ang role nila sa extension is that gatekeepers filter extension information before it reaches farmers. So extension workers must engage gatekeepers to ensure information is shared effectively. The next one is yung opinion leaders. So these are respected and influential members of the community who shape others' opinions and decisions. So ang characteristic nila, they are well-informed and credible, often early adopters of new technologies, serve as multipliers of extension messages. So I think pwede rin dito yung example ko kanina sa nanay ko. Ayan. So, examples. A progressive rice farmer who demonstrates new hybrid seeds. A successful organic grower influencing others to switch methods. So, opinion leaders, they bridge the gap between extension agents and farmers, helping spread innovations faster. Ayan. So, halimbawa, merong isang farmer na, ay, okay itong hydroponic gardening. Tapos, in-encourage na niya yung mga others kasi na-train na siya on hydroponic gardening. So, isa siya na pwede maging opinion leader. Another category of message channels ay yung ating mediated channels. So these are channels that use technology or devices to transmit messages between the communicator and the receiver. So ang advantage nito, fast and wide reach, isang text pa lang or isang chat sa messenger group chat, ganyan, andun agad yung information. Cost-effective for dissemination. So, hindi na kailangan, example, yung mga makalumang paraan na magpiprint pa ng mga leaflets or ng mga flyers, mga brochures, tas ibibigay kung kani-kanino. So, it can reach younger tech-savvy farmers. However, the limitation here is that it requires internet or device access. So, well, at this age and time naman, karaniwan ang ating mga farmers ay meron na rin naman silang mga cellphones, etc. However, meron pa rin siyempre kailangan ng internet, etc. So, it may also lack personal touch. Lalo na halimbawa kapag group chat siya, ganyan. O kaya, for example, yung uh, higher office, mag-post lang sila ng poster announcing something. So, of course, lack of personal touch. So key point, mediated channels make e-extension possible, the modern face of agricultural communication. Ayun. And another one is the mass media channels, communication that reaches large audiences simultaneously through media institutions. So advantages, it reaches many farmers quickly, useful for awareness and information campaigns. Ito na yung sinasabi ko na if ang goal lang naman ng isang post or ng isang stuff is for awareness and information. So it can go. It is more efficient to use mass media channels. However, the limitation here is that one way lang yung communication. Tapos limited yung feedback, of course, and may require reinforcement through interpersonal contact. So radio and TV programs, newspapers, and magazines. These are the examples of mass media channels. And I think this is the last one. We have the folk media channels, which is it involves the use of traditional, cultural, and local art forms as a communication media. So ang advantage nito, halimbawa kapag ang ini-engage mo yung mga farmers within a specific tribe, pwede mo nang like familiar sila doon sa mga ganap, kumbaga. So they are culturally familiar and engaging. It encourages participation and builds emotional connection with rural audiences. Halimbawa ng mga ito, folk songs about proper planting techniques, community theater plays promoting organic farming, murals or posters in local dialects, storytelling, riddles, and proverbs about farming wisdom. So ayun yung ilan sa mga examples ng folk media channels. So as a summary of our message channels, we have here interpersonal channels. Ang reach neto ay limited kasi kailangan ay parang one-to-one. Ang feedback neto, kahit na limited yung reach niya, ang feedback niya ay mas mataas kasi pwede ka na agad magsabi kasi nag-uusap lang kayo. So ang example neto ay extension or farming visits and trainings. Another one is mediated. So ang reach neto is moderate to high. So ang feedback moderate din. Example and extension ay social media, webinars, yung mga yan. The next one is mass media. Ang reach nito ay very high. However, ang feedback is very low. Halimbawa ay radio programs, TV shows. And of course, we have folk media. Ang reach ay localized kung saan community ka nag immerse. The feedback is high kasi localized nga siya. Ang example natin sa extension ay dramas, songs, and murals. And that's it for part 2 of 4 ng communication and extension. So, in the next episode, ang pag-uusapan naman natin ay yung mga iba pang elements in communication. So, if you are new here, can you please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell? Ayan, para naman ma-notify kayo whenever Yabong Pilipinas is posting video. Uh, Ngayon, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, ako nagpo-post ng contents dito. And I think we have contents up until like March or half of the year. Ayun siya, like kapag the best case scenario is matapos ko lahat ng yon hanggang June 2026 or July 2026. Yeah, so that's it. Uh, Thank you for listening. And that's it for this episode. See you in the next episode. Bye.